All right, so, it's a mare?
Yeah.
So here we go, this is a 4-year-old mare. She's already shown me she's not too scared of me. She's come right up to me. She's raced, she came off the track in June. And we're essentially going to be restarting her today. She apparently rears, she goes into pressure, panics a little bit. I got out here, I got a 12-foot rope and a rope halter. I got on the side there, I got a 22-foot rope if I need it. I got a 45-foot rope. Got a little horseman stick. I got a couple flags out there if I need them. She's moving with these quick little steps like a lot of thoroughbreds do when they come off the track. I don't know if you guys have this where you are, but we got a lot of this Spanish moss and some of the horses like it. A little careful with this horse knowing that she's reared a little bit in the past. I've had a few horses in the past that they can, instead of coming to you, start coming at you. So I'm going to be pretty careful how I get started here. Doing pretty good so far. This is part of my application for Road to the Horse. I've been talking to a few people there and we want to get into one of those wild card spots. And I've worked with a lot of quarter horses, but a lot more of the horses I've worked with have been, thoroughbreds and warm bloods. And I'm looking forward to working with some more smaller quarter horses. It makes getting on and off them a little easier. Just get her used to this. See if I can touch her everywhere. I think I got lucky with one a little tamer than we were thinking, which is nice. Let's get one of those flags, the long flag there. Thank you. As far as I know, she's never seen a flag before, so she's doing pretty good with this. Just like with everything, we want them to first just be able to accept it, and then we want them to be able to start to move off of it. So, thanks for giving me the time to show you guys this. Been trying to get comfortable with all kinds of tools over the years, the flag, the stick, the lariat. You know, when I see something new, it makes me want to give it a try. You know, there's even been a guy lately that I've seen that uses a clicker with his dogs and with some of his horses, so I wanted to give that a try. Whatever works, that's what I want to try, and then find my own way here. Give her a little minute to think about that. kind of gets stuck sometimes. She gets stuck turning, she gets stuck going backwards. You know, she kind of internalizes it a little bit. And same thing with this, like she's not running away, but she's holding a little tension inside. Kind of horse that'd be easy sort of to miss a little bit of that tension because she's holding it inside. So I really want to look for some of the changes in muscle tension and how her eyes are, her lips, her ears, her head carriage. I want all this stuff to get a little softer before I get on here. So she's getting pretty used to my my body being around her here. And before I want to get on, I got to get her used to a couple more things before I feel comfortable about that. I could have brought the stick out here, but I brought the flag out. And I want to get her both to understand it and also to be able to move off of it. And since she's internalizing a lot of it, I want to look for those moments where she can become more thoughtful, and also eventually where she can be more thoughtful and keep moving. She's got a pretty, she's pretty wary. She's got a comfort zone there that I want to keep working at. And what I'm looking for are some of the changes in her eye, some of the changes in her head carriage, some of the changes in her lips. Every time I bring this flag up here, I get a little flinch, and I just want to work at this spot here until I get a little less flinch, and then I'm going to give her a little break. And let that soak for a sec. That's nice. I'm going to ease up to her. Usually I'll try to let them touch me before I touch them. As soon as I get into her space with the flag, she's raising her head, so I want to make sure. Let me turn her around so you can see that. Just got to be aware of that bubble as I get in here. There's a girl. She's still got that little flinch, so I want to just keep working through that spot. I'd love to be able to, before I get on her, have her get used to that flag just moving around her without her reacting, and also be able to move her around a little bit, move her forwards, backwards, left and right with the flag, and just get a nice quiet response rather than these little flinches and having her overreact. No, I'm just going to get on her bareback today. Yeah. Yeah, we'll save that for day 2. All right, let's give that flag a little break here. And we're going to just see how she is getting used to my body around her. Easy go. There we go. Getting rubbed all over. Getting a nice rhythm, not too fast, not too slow. Look for a little moment when she can relax and put her head down. What a good girl. When I bring this around and I get back behind the hindquarters, I'm going to give myself a little more space. Right away, if I get a little response like that, I'm going to try to work that spot a little bit, look for a change. You know, with a lot of these horses that come off the track, not only are they not used to this, but a lot of them have ulcers as well. So I want to be careful to, work that spot around the girth as well. Just see the kind of reaction I get. Try to quit when I get her looking ahead and I get her eye a little softer. Ready to bring her nose in towards me if those hind end goes to kick out. Good. And we'll move her around and we'll try that in a few different spots. That's better. Still a little bit of a grumpy look in the eye, but it's getting a little softer. I'm ready to block with that hand or bring her nose towards me. I'm just going to give her a little rub on this side. I'm ready to block over here if she goes to nip, but I'm also ready to let her smell my hand. And then walk off. Okay. I want to make sure we can get all the feet being picked up. Just going to see how she is for that. Hold it up. I'm not going to drop it. I'm ready to block here with my hand or my heel if I need to. See if I can place it back down. Same thing back here. I'm going to start by bringing it up forward and placing it back down. Good. want to make sure she gets her weight off that leg before I go to pick it up. Good. We'll try the other side. When I bring my hand back, a lot of horses that I work with, I like to get them used to me running my hand all the way up here, along their back, along their hindquarters, all the way to the haunches. There we go. Not too short, not too long. Let's try that once more before we work around her again. Now, let's see if we can't get up on her here. I'm going to wait till I get right up there on her before I get the helmet. I'll get it in a sec. I'm ready to block that. Before I go right over, I want to see if I can find a nice quitting spot just with that on both sides. I'm a little less practiced on this side, I think. Most of us are that have grown up getting on one side always. All right, let me get the helmet. Gonna get on her here. Let's back her up for a second. Thank you. 25 minutes? You know, with a shy horse, I'll do most of my turns with having them come into my space. With a horse that's a little pushy, I'll do most of my turns going through their space like this. All right. If she goes to just take a step or two, then I'll let her. If she keeps like walking off, then I'll stop her or I'll start again. I want to get her used to being touched everywhere. I can rub her hindquarters with my leg here. I can rub the neck. She's a little sensitive around the girth, but she's getting better about it. There's a nice little quitting spot there as she licks and chews and settles into that spot. Struggling a little bit out here in the footing, I think, in that canter. I think I might leave that and not push that out here. I think just to know that she's not going to kind of explode if I ask for that is a nice feeling. Let's try the other way and just see here. No, she's just a little worried about that, and I think she's maybe not quite even, so we're just gonna let her come back here and we'll do a little more of this. Before I get on, I want to make sure that I can get all bend left and a little bend right, and then I got a little feeling if I wanted to stop or back up. There we go. Just repeat it 2 or 3 times, see if I can get a soft back up. Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, really nice. Let's just give her a sec there to think about that. Just getting her used to having this rope go around her head. You know what's nice is when they can just stand there and their head is still, and you can do 2 or 3 laps around one way and 2 or 3 laps around the other way. Yeah, good girl. That's better. Okay. All right, let's see here. She's a little nervous around the head, so I'm going to just spend a couple minutes getting her used to that. I want to ease up, but I should be able to not have to sneak around either. There we go. Just getting a little more polite with my hand there. Ready to block that with my leg here. Feel a little tension go through all her body as I touch further back with my left hand. If you guys watch that, she's fine with it here. As I get further back, she gets a little tense, so I'm going to try to introduce that a little slower. All right, let's give her a little break from that. Let's just see if she feels a little more freely forward off the rope here, and then we'll catch her once more. Let's get the stick there. Yeah. All right. Just want to see how she does here without feeling the rope. She can get that canter. I think she's just worried about it protecting a leg a little bit. Just watching, and I'm trying to figure out which parts of the circle she cuts out on, which parts of the circle she cuts in on. And if I can catch that moment, then that's just real sweet right there. You know, and partly she might be drawn up to that halter, or she might be drawn up to the middle. But at this point, I'll take it. Anything to kind of get her attention back in on me for a moment and draw her off the rail. I'd like that to get a little bit better as we go. Maybe even to draw her past the halter and all the way to me. You know, partly to see what kind of canter she's got, but also after playing around on her back, she might feel the need to move a little bit. And so just to see, you know, with the rope sometimes I can miss that, but just to see, does she need to go out and move around a little bit? I'm going to see if I can head on a slight angle away from the rope halter just to see if I can draw her on an angle past the arena. But instead of catching her on the halter, I caught her on the Spanish moss there. That's all right. Hey, girl. All right, let's try this again and see if she's a little more comfortable this time. I'm ready to block that. I'd let her sniff me if she just goes to sniff, but I'm ready to block it if she goes to bite a little bit. At this point, I'm still ready to hop off if I need to. You know, that's one of the nice things about starting off bareback instead of a saddle. I'm ready for a quick dismount. Let's just see if I ask her just a little walk step here. There we go. And the halt. And she reacted a little bit from the ground when I threw this over her head, but I think I can be a little slicker from her back, so let's just see how she does here. And now if I'm going to get off, I get off on the right, not the left. See if I can get just a little bend here. And if I'm going to add in a little leg, it's going to be this leg here, both looking to kind of tap her off, but also maybe seeing if I might get the hindquarters moving over or getting a little bend around my inside leg. And when I do get a little flexion, that's when I'll soften back to her. Try the halt. Ooh. Nice. Back the other way. If I get around the muzzle, not a big deal. I can even tip her nose off like that. Run my hand up. So I got an opening rein, not an indirect rein. Ooh. Back the other way. This is getting a little, I can be a little more casual. I don't have to be so sneaky when I throw the rope over her back. Oh. Now, even before I'd ask for the trot, I'd look to see if I could just get a little energy in the walk, if she could just trot off, you know, even just think about trotting off, not without even trotting off, but just a little, that she wakes up a little bit in the walk, just like that. I see her step change and she starts to what I'd call march a little bit at the walk. And just that feeling that I'm not trying to control the gait yet, but I'm trying to control the energy. I'm trying to influence the energy. Can her energy come up? And then can it come down? And then from there at the beginning, that's how I'm going to get the transitions, just by bringing the energy up until the trot. She kind of breaks into the trot, and same thing back down again. Let's try that. Raise my energy up. Just like that. Almost into the trot and then back down. See if I can do that 2 or 3 times. Bring the energy up. I think she goes up a little bit. So we're going to have to make sure we get her a little more in front of the leg before we keep going down that road. So let's go back this way. You know, one of the nice things about teaching a horse like voice cues is some of them will start to translate, because is she going up because of my leg? Is she going up because she's hitting the halter or the bit, if you got a bit in? Is she going up because she doesn't want to go forward because she's a little uncomfortable? And if she's not wanting to go forward because of the leg, you know, the voice cue can kind of be an intermediate step. If I get them listening, you know, to the kiss or the cluck on the ground, then I can see if I can just give a little kiss and get her going here. Just like that. Bring the energy up. And then bring the energy back down. So I'm just curious. I'm going to be a little curious as we go to see if she does it one direction more than the other. If she does it in one place of the arena more than the other. I'm going to be a little curious how that goes. And since I've had a little success to the left rather than the right, I'm just going to see if I can isolate, you know, whether it's the leg, whether it's the halter, whether it's to the left or the right or a certain part of the arena, and just see if I can get her going comfortably one way or the other.
Do you think that's also related to the fact that when you work her on the ground and she gets a bit stuck when you're trying to move her around?
Yeah, she gets a bit stuck, and also she seems a little like sore, so I want to get her like feeling pretty comfortable. I want to make, you know, I want her to listen to me to go forward, but I also want her to feel as comfortable as she can when she goes forward. I don't want to go forward and then all of a sudden like say, whoop, not too fast. I don't want to ask her to go forward and then all of a sudden have her, you know, hit the halter in a way or the bit in a way that's uncomfortable. Like when she goes forward, I want her to feel pretty happy going forward. What's that? So we're going to go back to the right. This is the direction it happened before, and this is the same spot. So I'm going to wait till I'm past this spot here to get the trot. I'm going to see if I can just have her just ease into the trot. And then ease out of the trot here. And even though like I wanted to teach her this whoa here with the rope coming straight up, at the trot, I think I'll avoid that. I'll spiral in a little bit so she's not feeling that pressure in front. Let's go back to the left. See if I can just bring the energy up like that. Maybe see if I can do it a second time. And if she spirals in the circle, it doesn't matter. I'm almost letting her pick where she wants to go. And then I'm going to see if I can spiral back down rather than pull back down. And we'll go the other way. I think a nice quitting spot for the day would be if I could get, you know, at the trot both directions, just a nice, you know, 2 or 3 laps where she just feels like she just kind of flows into the trot. And that might be a nice place to quit for the day. Let's see how that goes. At the beginning here, I'm really not asking for the trot right at a moment or a certain speed. I just want to bring the energy level up and let her break. You know, even just that is like the beginning of what I want. And the same way, you know, even though I'm kind of restarting her, it's the same way I'd start a horse trotting for the very first time. And also similar to how I sometimes do it on the ground. Like I'm not trying to change gait. I'm just managing the energy level. And if you think about that, it's the same thing you want, you know, with a dressage horse later on. You want to feel like you can get a lot of athleticism and bring the energy up for the flying changes or the piaffe or the passage, but you also want to bring the energy level back down, you know, for the free walk on the loose rein, or you want to be able to walk out of the arena without them dancing around. So I'm trying to be aware of like her energy level throughout a session. And there, she wanted to go a little right, and when I asked her to go left, she broke to the walk. And for now, because she's kind of threatened to rear, I'm going to be pretty careful about trying to ask for two things at once. So if she wants to go straight, if she's happy on the rail, I'll ask for the trot. But if she wanted to turn and slow down, I kind of got to pick which one of those I'm going to stick with. You know, in this case, I might ask her to keep going left. In another case, I might let her pick the direction, but keep asking for the trot. Most of the time I'll pick direction over speed. Like just like here, I pick the direction that she can follow the rein over the speed, which is the trot. And as I get a little further along, then I can ask her again to trot. And that's the second time today she's thought about rearing up when I put my leg on there, because I asked for speed and direction at the same time. And again, she thinks about it. But as I get a little further along, I can start to be a little bit more thinking that I want more than one thing. And she's getting stuck in the same place every time. So a great place to quit would be if I can get her going and quit on the other side of the arena. I'm trying when she goes to my leg to not go towards it, but to keep it moving in such a way that she runs into it. I'm not going to reach up towards her head and kick her, but I certainly don't want her biting me. I'm going to even let her be a little bent to the outside as I go through this turn. I think bending a little to the inside here and keeping the trot might be a little too much for her. There we go. And whoop. She's starting a little bit to feel a little bit more comfortable going forward. I still also really think, like, with the biting, with the going forward, and especially at the beginning, like something like ulcers or something like that with a horse like this. We had the problem earlier here to the right, and then the problem there to the left, which makes me think it's really not sort of one direction or the other, but it could be, just a little bit that she feels uncomfortable going forward in general. Have you guys scoped her for ulcers ever? No? Yeah, it might be just something. I mean, it may not be that, but definitely I'd think about that. And she really feels like if I'm going to ask her to go forward, I got to make it really comfortable for her to go forward. Like, if she wants to have her head straight or her head slightly right, if I'm asking her to go forward and bend her in a way that's a little uncomfortable, she struggles a lot more with that. I'm going to see if I can just wait it out here to get off and find a place where she's a little, she can relax a little more. So I think horses won't, are hesitant about going forward for all sorts of reasons, and I think you just can't treat them all the same. Like a really common example, as I even saw this in the same horse a couple weeks ago, is out in the cross-country area, sometimes it would stop because it would get behind the person's leg, and sometimes it would stop in a very similar way because it was aware of something in front of it that it was a little nervous about, and it would stop in a very similar way to the rider. And when the horse stopped because of her leg, I wanted her to use the stick, put her eye up, have a little slack in the rein, and go forward. On the other hand, if the horse stopped in a very similar way and it was nervous about what's in front of it, I wanted her to be patient, let the horse have a look and go forward slowly, maybe even do a little approach and retreat or circle and then come up to it. And if the horse stopped because of what's in front of it and she went to the stick, or the horse stopped because of her leg and she didn't go to the stick and she just waited out, then you'd have same problem but two different reasons, and if you treat it the wrong way, you're going to have two very different results. This horse doesn't really give me the feeling that she's nervous about what's in front of her. A little bit the feeling that she is more comfortable with her head carriage one way or the other, but also the feeling that when I close my leg, that when she feels like me wrapping around her, that it makes her a little uncomfortable. To me, like, it's not in a way, some horses you'll close your leg and they've really learned to go into pressure. You close your leg and they kick out into you, like almost like a learnt behavior to get you to take your leg off. This horse to me is just, she doesn't really feel like that. She actually feels like a little uncomfortable physically. It feels like she's actually trying pretty hard for me. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that gives you an idea about this horse and about what we're up to. You got any questions? Let me know. Thanks very much.